Welcome, everyone. Today, you're going to be joining me at the Decentralized Masters podcast. I am John, your host, and today we're going to be doing a quick market analysis, see what's going on. Hope you all are having a good one. It's been a while since we've gone live. Right now, taking a look at crypto bubbles as we see on the weekly right across the board. Some massive news actually were just announced. What was it, yesterday over the holidays? We're going to go ahead and cover that. This is one of the main reasons why we're seeing the market drop aggressively, but surprisingly for altcoins, I honestly expected worse. But I mean, in crypto, in a 1 week, 27% downside is pretty aggressive when it comes to the altcoins and meme coins. Even Pepe going as low as 24%. Monero also added retracement. Now we go ahead and take a look at the daily. Not much has gone there. And let's take a look at the hourly and really slightly a little bit of recovery. Nothing too impressive besides IP up 14%. But let's go ahead and take a look at the crypto fear and greed and see how the market sentiment is reacting today. So looking at the fear and greed index, we do see that we are now at extreme fear. 24. Yesterday we were at fear. Last week at neutral. Things were looking pretty positive. Bitcoin was about to break its all-time high. And then these news got announced on Monday, dropping the market aggressively. And we're going to talk about what those news were. Most of you must already know what's going on. A lot of craziness going around the world. And, that causes a lot of fear in the markets. And we start to see the volatile market start to drop. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. I have a few articles here with you that I want to go ahead and touch up on. So let's go ahead and start off with this article today. Wall Street sees its worst day since October after Trump tariff threats. So it looks like Trump went ahead and did some threats regarding tariffs. People panic, market dumped. One of the most aggressive sell-offs that we've seen in a very, very long time. I'm actually quite surprised how low Bitcoin actually dropped down to $88,000 at a very strong area of support. But so did the stock market. The stock market took a major, major hit. And we'll talk a little bit more about this, but this is what's causing the fear. And guess what is going up as this is going down? Gold and silver. Gold is getting ready to make a new all-time high once again. So, not a surprise. Let's go ahead and take a look at that before we move forward. Let's go ahead and see this. So what else I wanted to go ahead and show you? This is the article I want to show you before I move on to something else. Trump Media set to issue non-transferable crypto tokens, cut date February 2nd. It looks like Trump Media and Technology Group have officially announced a date for a highly anticipated distribution of new digital tokens to its shareholders as part of its partnership with cryptocurrency exchange Crypto.com. The record date for this digital token will go live February 2nd. So it seems like Trump Media stockholders are going to be eligible to get these tokens. I'm not sure what these tokens are really going to do. I mean, it tells you right here that these digital tokens are going to be rewards that may include benefits or discounts associated with Trump's media's offerings, such as Truth Social, Truth Plus, and Truth Predict. I've never used any of those social media platforms, so I'm not too sure what those are. But I believe Truth Social is like Twitter. And CRO token plummets. So the partnership between Crypto.com and Trump Media dates back into August of last year when Trump-linked company announced a $6.4 billion investment in the crypto exchange native token, which is CRO. As part of a strategic reserve. So, despite all that happening, CRO token hasn't really done much. It did go up back in August after the announcement of Trump Media collaborating with Crypto.com. We saw Crypto.com go from 8 cents to as high as over 30 cents. So ever since then, we are currently down at seems to be a 34% retracement. So not really much going on there, but I found that very interesting. And also, Trump signs ordered to restrict Wall Street firms from buying single-family homes. I'm not too sure how positive this is going to be or negative. I'm not too familiarized with the real estate market. Maybe some of you are, but this seems to be positive, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, so I guess that's a little bit of positiveness coming in. As I mentioned earlier, gold rises record on crisis over Greenland as well. So it looks like U.S. President Trump, who was in Switzerland for the World Economic Forum, showed no signs of backing down on his initiative to take the Arctic island. So wars, panic, inflation, and tariffs. Amazon CEO prices have gone up from tariffs. I mean, Amazon's pretty expensive nowadays. I've mentioned this to several people that back in the day, Amazon about like 5 years plus ago, it used to be very affordable to buy most of your items on Amazon. And now it's actually more expensive. It's actually more expensive to buy your generic items that you would buy at a store compared to Amazon. And that's, due because of tariffs. I would say over 90% of the items on Amazon that we purchase are coming straight from China. So definitely overseas, a lot of the items are coming. So tariffs is definitely going to pay an issue there when it comes to products, and I'm not sure services, but products regarding on Amazon. But yeah, that's pretty much one of the biggest news. Regarding that, there's not much. Let's go ahead and take a look at the crypto market, see what's going on. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We are going live on Thursday as well. I thought it was just very important to go live today. It's going to be a quick stream, not too long, but I wanted to go ahead and touch up on what the market is doing and what we could expect moving forward. Let's go ahead and start off with the US 100, which is the NASDAQ. As we see, the NASDAQ is one of the areas of where the stock market is the most volatile. This is, stocks that are listed regarding AI, new technologies, digital assets. What else? I think that's it. Those are like the major ones. Media, I guess, if you want to call it. This is where all the tech companies are going to be listed. And usually tech, during times like this when the market is uncertain, there's a lot of volatility to the downside when the market panics. So this is why we're seeing the NASDAQ right now getting rejected, very similar to what we saw Bitcoin getting rejected at an area of resistance. The question will be, will we hold support? Let's go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin, because this is one of the main reasons why we're all here on this stream today. As we see Bitcoin was doing very well these last few weeks. And then we saw Bitcoin go from as low as 86,000 to as high as $97,000 in less than 2 weeks. And then following through, we ended up in a little bit of a rejection, a lot of selling pressure around this zone. And what ended up happening here is we see very strong buying pressure right here at around this $88,000, which, as you see, this is an area where we have very strong support and where, most whales like to go ahead and purchase. I mean, based on the smart money concepts that we see right here, we do see that $88,000 is the key area for Bitcoin, ideally $86,000. So even though, things are looking pretty bearish, pretty negative regarding the news, Bitcoin is still safe so far until it really loses, starts to lose its major area of support under $86,000. I mean, I don't think there's much support from there. So it definitely won't look positive if we do continue to go down even further. But right here, Bitcoin currently is at a pretty good range. The question is, will we be able to hold this range? More than likely, I believe we will. But of course, we will see in the next coming weeks how this goes. One thing I do want to go ahead and point out, guys, is where Bitcoin got rejected at around this $97,000 is a very strong area of resistance. It is an area that Bitcoin has struggled in the past to either hold or break above. But once we do see this breakthrough for Bitcoin, a higher movement to the upside will be coming. So realistically speaking, it's not over. I know things are not looking positive, but in my opinion, there's nothing to go ahead and freak out about just now. I'm sure a lot of this had to do with liquidations as well. Markets were looking very positive. Everything was aligning perfectly. Charts were looking good. And then tariffs, panic, people scared, liquidations, and then that wipes out the market very aggressively. So this is typical when we see situations like this in the market. Now, that being said, The ultimate question will be, will we go ahead and test $97,000 again? And like I mentioned, if we are, more than likely to come back to the zone, I'm almost pretty confident to say there's a higher chance that Bitcoin will break $97,000 and then we'll be approaching this 105, which this is really what matters to us. In my opinion, this is the zone that I'm looking at personally. It's around this 102, 108. Can Bitcoin break and hold above that? So yes, if we do see Bitcoin in the next coming weeks come back up to this $97,000, hold the support pretty well and break above it, that's going to be a pretty big progress, right? But it's not going to be bringing full confidence that the reversal of the market is now in, right? We are technically still in a downtrend, and we still have to go ahead and break out of this. And we're very, very close. And this is one of the main reasons why a lot of traders went ahead and took aggressive longs on leverage, due to the fact that things were looking very positive, right? But also keep in mind, all it takes is a little bit of negative or positive news to move the market. So it's not over yet. I know it does seem pretty aggressive, but this is one of the main reasons why we're seeing this correction all across the board. Same thing with Ethereum right now. We see Ethereum under this $3,000 mark, also at a very strong area of support, to no surprise. But yes, we are definitely hanging on thread right now. And it could be completing that head and shoulders that we've been talking about, for Ethereum. You can see this clearly right here happening. And, hopefully this is not the end of the rally, but it could be. It could be. This could be, I wouldn't say the ultimate start of the bear market, but this would definitely be confirming the bear market coming in. But just like we saw that tweet happening, or that announcement from Trump, positive things could also be announced and could change the sentiment of the market in one flip. So not time to give up, but we do see gold making new all-time highs at $4,800 an ounce. Looks like we're near that $5,000 an ounce. Gold just continues to go, and we're only about a 3% move for gold to go ahead and break and hit $5,000. And I think that's going to be a really big number for gold. But yeah, I mean, if you just zoom out, gold has been performing very, very well. And this is to be expected during times like this of the market, when, the markets are uncertain of what's going to happen, wars, tariffs, people are going to be running into safer assets, which tend to be gold and silver. Most investors will stay away from anything speculative. That would be like digital assets, Bitcoin. That would also include tech stocks for the most part. But that could also bring in buying opportunities, right? So also keep in mind, there's always going to be a switch in the market. There's going to be a time when it's time to buy gold, and there's going to be a time, of course, to be loading up on the digital assets. But as of right now, gold and silver are rallying. And for all of you wondering, like, hey, John, when are we finally going to see Bitcoin do this big thing that everyone's talking about? And I'll tell you a little bit in a little bit. Hey, Samuel, good to see you. Thanks, John. Your insight is very helpful. I'm glad it's very, very helpful for you. Really appreciate you. Smash that like button and turn on that post notifications if you haven't. Regarding silver and gold. So if you guys are wondering, when is Bitcoin finally going to hit that $90,000 to $100,000 range? When are we going to have altcoin season coming in? Listen up. You might not want to hear this, but in reality, as long as gold and silver continue to go up, we're not going to see Bitcoin go up. We're not going to see these speculative assets go up, Right now, we're at a time in the markets overall that there's a lot of fear, a lot of panic, and investors and traders are just not willing to take any risk. And that's kind of like where the issue and problem is. So what we're waiting for, really, what we really need to ultimately see the market do a sharp turn and reverse in our favor going up, is we need to see we need to see gold and silver hit a top. That's really what we need. We need silver and gold to hit a top. Keep in mind, every time gold and silver goes up, Bitcoin, the speculative assets, go down. They're going to take a hit. every time gold and silver go down, we're going to see these speculative assets rise. So basically what we need to see gold and silver hit a top. And when will that top come? I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I find it pretty crazy that gold is still going up at these very, very high levels. I mean, I wish I would have bought more gold, but personally, I'm not buying gold at 4,800 or $5,000 an ounce. Of course, not financial advice, but I definitely would like to go ahead and see a retracement in gold and silver. Even if we could see gold come down to this 3,900, 4,200 and under, I think, in my opinion, not financial advice, would be a good buying opportunity. But as of right now, keep in mind, just like any other market, whenever a market goes up, there's going to be a downside coming with it. And we could go ahead and go back. This is mostly with silver, not so much with gold. But we can see that with silver, this happened once when silver did very, very well. I mean, look at this right here. Back in 2010, silver rallied from about $25, rallied all the way up to 2011 at $48 an ounce, and then retraced. And then the silver went from $48 to back down to $12. So I don't think we're going to see something like that aggressively, but the question is, where is the top? And this is kind of a game of musical chairs right here at this point. There's going to have to be a correction that's going to have to come. We just don't know when. And the correction is really what we need for gold and silver in order for digital assets to start to go up. And the only reason why gold and silver would start to go down is if the tension starts to ease off. Meaning, if we start to get more positive news and we're not getting all these news about tariffs and wars and all this crazy stuff that's going around the world. And that's going to go ahead and bring in confidence into investors to be willing to take on more risk. But right now, we're in a market condition where no one knows what's going to happen. And that's the fear that's kicking in and the reason why we're seeing gold and silver rise. So hold on tight, guys. Like I mentioned, it's almost final to see. We've been talking about this. Is Bitcoin going to complete this head and shoulders pattern? Because keep in mind, we're not in a bullish market and we're not in a bearish, but we're more than likely in a bear market. We're going to be entering a bear market. The signs that we're seeing are giving bear market signs, right? There's no confirmation. Of course, we could see Bitcoin breakthrough, making new all-time highs, but until that happens, then we'll change the story. But I think personally right now we're more leaning towards a bear market. And keep in mind the area where I'm really concerned for Bitcoin, it's not 93,000, it's not 97, $98,000. For me is 103 and $107,000. Like, can Bitcoin break that zone? Because as you notice right here, going back all the way to June and even January and also November of 2024, Bitcoin struggled to break above that $100,000 zone. And when Bitcoin broke above that $100,000 zone, new all-time highs were created. So I'm not worried about what Bitcoin is doing now. And if we do start to see Bitcoin go up, yes, there's going to be some excitement. But keep in mind, the ultimate goal that we really need to see Bitcoin break is 107. Because if we don't and we get rejected, which at this point right now, based on what we're seeing from data of past data that we've seen in the markets based off Bitcoin, we see that there's a lot of resistance. So there's a lot of selling pressure at around the zone. So meaning there's a possibility we could be seeing a second shoulder for this head and shoulders pattern, which is a bearish pattern. It's not a positive pattern to be in. And this is what is alarming a lot of investors and traders. And this is one of the main reasons why a lot of investors are staying away from digital assets at the moment. The uncertainty of the market, volatility, the fear, also the FOMO of gold and silver going up. I'm sure there's quite a bit of people that were in digital assets and now chasing gold and silver because of the excitement. It's a lot of it that's added, but as I mentioned, it's not over just yet. Let's see how it picks up in the next coming days. Hopefully we see some excitement back on Thursday. We'll go live. If not, I'll catch you guys next week. But with that being said, I hope you all have a great rest of your night. Really appreciate all of you being here. Make sure to slap that like button, turn on post notifications. And if you aren't part of our community, make sure to go ahead and join our free community down below on the description. With that being said, everyone, I hope you all have a good one and hope to see you guys on Thursday. Take care and just be very, very cautious, okay? Don't leverage trade aggressively. I don't think this is the time to be taking 10, 20x leverage. Of course, not financial advice. With that being said, I hope you all have a good one. Take care, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.